Hello everyone, hope you are safe and doing well. I would like to quickly introduce myself. I am Ansh Goyal, intern at Key Cyber, and this session is related to my task. So we will cover some concept of Active Directory and some attack that happens on Active Directory, and we also discuss Active Directory authentication. So we will start without doing any further delay. Okay, so many so many of us don't know what is Active Directory. So what is Active Directory? Active Directory is a directory service developed by Microsoft for Windows Domain Network. It is included in most Windows Server operating system as a set of processes and services. Initially, Active Directory was only in charge of centralized domain management. However, Active Directory became an umbrella title for a broad range of directory-based identity-related services. A server running Active Directory Domain Services (ADDS) role is called a domain controller. It authenticates and authorizes all users and computers in all computers and installing or updating software. For example, when a user logs into a computer that is part of a window domain, Active Directory checks the submitted password and determines whether the user is a system administration or a normal user. Also, it allows management and storage of information provided, authenticated, and authorization mechanism, and establish a framework to deploy other related services, certificate services, Active Directory Federation services, lightweight directory services, and right management services. Active Directory uses lightweight directory access protocol, short form LDAP, version 2 and 3. Microsoft version of Kerberos is also used as a authentication in Windows Active Directory. Okay, so we will discuss now the what is the purpose of Active Directory. Now what is the benefits, purpose, and these all kinds of things related to Active Directory. So Active Directory provide user logon and authentication services. Active Directory basically manages two type of authentication which we will discuss in further slides, and to organize and manage user accounts, computers, and networks resources. Active Directory simplifies life for administration and end user while enhancing security for organization. Okay, so we will discuss the Active Directory structure, what it's contain, and what are the basic structure. So the first basic structure is domain. Active Directory basically follows a hierarchical model. In this, we can say that many computers like it forms a logical group like domain. Domain is defined as a logical group of networks, like several computers combine together to form a domain, and several domains combine together to form trees, and several trees together combine and form a forest, which we will discuss in further slides. So what is domain? A domain is defined as a logical group of network objects like computer, user devices, endpoint devices that share the same Active Directory database. Active Directory is made up of one or more domains. Active Directory also contain one domains or more than one domains. Each domain in an Active Directory is identified a DNS domain name. Okay, so you can use the Active Directory domain and trust tool to manage these domain. Each domain can be managed by a domain controller called DC in an Active Directory system. Okay, so we jump to trees. Now what is trees? A tree is a set of one or more domains. Like when more than one domains combine together, they will form a tree, and the first domain that is created is known as the root tree, and root tree is the first domain which is created first. Additional domains like branches of that root domain are called child domain. Like in this example, we can see that domain.local, email.domain.local is a child of domain.local, and www.domain.local is also a child of domain.local. Now the next is forest. As you can see in this image, we can see that there are two domains. blue.com and red.com, and their child domains are sales.blue.com, pr.blue.com, and similar to red.com, accounts.red.com, and engineering.red.com. These are the domain trees which combine together to form trees, and trees combine together to form forest. So what is forest? Forest is a collection of trees that share a common global catalog, directory schemas, logical structures, and directory configuration. Okay, so we will now jump to going further ahead, discuss organization unit. What is organization unit? Okay, an organization unit, OU in short form, is a subdivision within an Active Directory into which you can place users, group, computers, and other organization unit. You can create organization unit to mirror your organization's functionals or business structure. Each domain can implement its own organization unit hierarchy. If your organization unit structure is in each domain that are independent of the structure in the other domains. The term organization units is often shortened to OU in casual conversation. Container is also often applied in its place. Even in Microsoft's own documentation, all terms are considered correctly and interchangeable. So moving ahead, now we will discuss some of the authentications that Active Directory use. Uh, so Active Directory support multiple authentication. Mainly there are these are the two authentication which Active Directory use. Like first one is anti-LM authentication and second one is Kerberos authentication. Now moving ahead to anti-LM authentication. Okay, Windows Anti-LAN Manager (anti-LM) is a challenge response authentication protocol used to authenticate a client to a resource on an Active Directory domain. When a client requests access to service associated with the domain, the service sends a challenge to the client requiring that the client to perform a mathematical operation using its authentication token. See, every client have their authentication token which they use to access the services or request any services, and then return the result of the operation to the services. The services may validate the result or send it to DC, domain controller, which is the main part of the domains, all the in a domain for validation. If the service of DC confirms that the client response is correct, if the DC confirms that all is good, this service allowed access to the client. Means if the DC approves your request, then you will be access to that services that the client is which the client is requesting. The anti-LM protocol suite is implemented in a security support provider (SSP), a Windows 32 API used by Microsoft Windows System to perform a variety of security related operations such as authentication. The anti-LM protocol suite include LAN Manager authentication protocol. There are two versions, like anti-LM v1 and anti-LM v2. Anti-LM is widely deployed even on new system to maintain compatibility with older system. This is used. Anti-LM is used, but is no longer recommended for use by Microsoft because anti-LM does not support current cryptographic methods such as AES, Advanced Encryption Standard, or SHA-256, Secure Hash Algorithm 256. Microsoft adopted another authentication method which is known as Kerberos as a preferred authentication protocol for Windows 2000 and subsequent Active Directory domains. So now we have to discuss Kerberos authentication. What is Kerberos authentication? Kerberos is an authentication protocol for client-server application. This protocol relies on a combination of private key encryption and access ticket. Access ticket we will discuss in further slides. Like access ticket, I want to give a brief description. Like whenever a user want permission to have any service, he or the client need to request a TGS, ticket granting service. So we will discuss that in further slides. This protocol relies on a combination of private key encryption and access to, tickets to safely verify user identity. The main reason for adopting Kerberos are, say, plain text passwords are never sent across an insecure network. Every login has 3 stages of authentication. Encryption protect all access keys and tickets authentication in mutual, so both user and provider are safe from scams. MIT developed the first instance of Kerberos in the late 80s. The protocol was named as Cerberus, a creature from Greek mythology. Cerberus was a ferocious three-headed dog who guarded Hades. A redefined version of Kerberos came out of Microsoft as a part of Windows 2000. So that's enough for Kerberos. Now the main motive of this session is some discussing some Active Directory attacks. Okay, so the first attack we will discuss in this session is pass the hash. See, these the attacks I will discuss are uses for privilege escalation. Like we have initial in this attack, like we have initial foothold, like we are logged in as a simple normal user, we can say that, and we have to level up privilege to the domain controller, or we can say that any higher privilege. So these attacks are much helpful to gain that foothold. So first attack of this session is the pass the hash. Once an advisory is a attacker. Once an advisory has gained a foothold in the network, like I said earlier, these type of attack is mainly used for privilege escalation. So we are expected that we have an initial foothold on the network as a low level user, we can say that. Their tactics shift to compromising additional system and obtaining the privilege they need to complete their mission. Pass the hash is a credential theft and lateral movement technique in which an attacker can abuse the challenge and response nature of the NTLM authentication protocol to authenticate as a user with only the NTLM hash of the user's password. The attacker is thus able to use the compromised account without ever obtaining or brute forcing the plain text password. See, what is happening here is that any attacker is authenticated to user without using even password. Attacker only use a hash, and the hash is used and passed to the authentication window and authenticated to that server. Password hashes normally only change when the password itself is changed, granting the advisory significant time to abuse the compromised user. Both ticket granting service (TGS) tickets and ticket granting tickets can be stolen and reused by adversaries. TGS tickets enable an advisory to access a specific resource described in the ticket and can be stolen without administration privileges. TGT are more valuable as they are used to request TGT tickets but require the threat actor to have gained administrative privilege on the computer from which it can be stolen. Okay, so we will discuss pass the hash attack in 3 steps. So step 1, there are number of methods by which an advisory can obtain password hashes once they have gained a foothold in the network. The most common of these is to extract password hashes from the lsas.exe process. So why lsas.exe? Because it stores hashes for user with active session to the computer. In order for this technique to work, the advisory must have compromised administrative privilege to the computer. Example, the user that has opened their phishing email in an administration of their workstation. The following example we can, as you can see on this, we have used a mimikatz.exe. This is the best which is used in this type of attack, like pass the hash, and basically mimikatz is used for memory dumping. Okay, so as you can see, this command mimikatz.exe privilege debug log and secure LSA, as we are targeting lsas.exe and log on password. As you can see, the username name Jod and the domain name is domain. As we are successfully dump his NTLM SHA-1 hash. So till now we have dumped the hash of a user. So we will use this hash to pass. Now the next step of this attack is, next the advisory use the stolen password hash and pass the hash technique to authenticate as the compromised user. With this example, demonstrate using the stolen password hash to launch cmd.exe. Now we can use this hash to launch cmd.exe as an Jod, and as a username is Jod. So cmd.exe will be launched as a privilege of Jod. So to pass the hash, we have to use this command mimikatz.exe secure lsa.pth. pth full form pass the hash, and for which username is Jod, and the domain name we have to specify, and the NTLM which we have grabbed from the earlier slide. Now this will pop up as cmd.exe as a privilege that Jod have. Now the third step is, next an advisory will use their newly acquired privileges as we have discussed earlier. The user is Jod. Now advisory will use this newly acquired privilege to further their objectives. Tools like psexec, great tool, I use this many times, may be used to execute command on remote system, enabling the attacker to expand their footprinting and repeat the cycle of credential theft and lateral movement on an ever growing number of systems. Now that we have compromised the user Jod, now we will again repeat this same cycle to grab any other user hashes and use the same technique as we have studied earlier to gain another user level privileges. Now this attack is complete here. We have to use this repeated attack to privilege ourselves up. So the next step we will discuss is Kerberos-String. Okay, so before going deep dive into Kerberos-String, I want to discuss some of the facts about Kerberos and how Kerberos authentication work. So Kerberos I already discussed in the previous slides, but let's discuss it once again. Kerberos is an authentication protocol, not authorization. In other words, it allowed to identify each user. Basically, it allows you. What it does is it basically identifies the user, not its privilege, who's provide a secret password. However, it not validate to which resources. It will not validate you for any resources like. Kerberos is used in Active Directory. In this platform, Kerberos provide information about privileges of each user, but it's responsibility of each service is to determine if the user has access to its resources. Now I will discuss how Kerberos authentication work. With Kerberos, user never authenticate themselves to the service directly. Instead, they go through a series of steps performed by different parts of the key distribution center, KDC, short form. The AS authentication server verifies user with decryption. The Kerberos protocol starts with the user requesting access to a service through authentication server. So this request is partially encrypted with a secret key, the user's password. So what is the secret key? The user's password. The password is a shared secret between the user and the authentication server, AS. The AS can only decrypt the request if the user encrypted the message with the right password. If the password is wrong, the AS cannot interpret the request. In that case, what AS does not verify the user. It does not allow user to authenticate, and the authentication process fails. Once it decrypts the request, the AS create a TGT. What is TGT? Ticket granting ticket. It is like we can interpret like as a pass. A user get a pass which he or she can use to authenticate into server and encrypt it with TGS, ticket granting secret. This key is shared secret between the autonomous AS and the ticket granting server. The TGT contain a client TGT session key, an expiration date, and the client IP address. The IP address protect from man in the middle attack. Like if someone sit in between the network and using spoofing attack, so attacker will not able to spoof that ticket, because that ticket contain IP address, and this cannot be changed. Once it issue a TGT, the AS send it to the user. Now the TGT has been issued and assigned it to user. The second is the TGS connect user to service server. The user send the TGT to the TGS. Now the user get the TGT from the authentication service. If the user use the same TGT that is being issued by the AS authentication server, if that ticket is valid and the user has permission to access the service, the TGS is issued to a service ticket. Now what is TGS? TGS is like a service pass, another pass which is used for service, which service can be used by which user. A service ticket contains the client ID, client network address, validity period, and client server session key. The service ticket is encrypted with a secret key shared with the service server. The user then sends the ticket to the service server along with the service request. The service server decrypts the key and grant access to request resources. So we have discovered these two tickets, TGT and TGS. TGT is used for authentication user and TGS is for uh, granting permission for any specific services. Okay, now we go back to previous slide for discussing Kerberos. Kerberos abused trait of the Kerberos protocol to harvest password hashes for Active Directory user account with service principal name, short form SPN value, that is service account. A user is allowed to request a ticket granting service TGS ticket for any SPN service principal name, and part of the TGS may be encrypted with the RC4 using the password hash of the service assigned the requested SPN as the key. An attacker or adversary who is able to extract the TGS ticket from the memory or capture them by sniffing network traffic can extract the service account's password hash and attempt a offline brute force attack to obtain the password. So this is the Kerberos attack. Now the third and the last attack we will discuss. This already we have discussed this also. Now the golden ticket is the last one. A golden ticket in Active Directory grants the bearer unlimited access. The security of the Kerberos protocol is rooted in the use of shared secret to encrypt and sign messages. Some of these secrets are known to the third party, the key distribution center in the Kerberos. We have discussed already there, and client. But one particular only known to the KDC. The secret to the KRB TGT account, Kerberos ticket granting ticket account user, whose password hash is used to sign or encrypt Kerberos ticket issued by the KDC. In other words, compromising the KRB TGT hash allow an adversary to behave as if they were Active Directory, like they are the head. When an adversary has compromised that KRB TGT hash, they possess the golden ticket, like they are the head of the Active Directory, and they can do whatever they want. Using it, they can mint Kerberos ticket as if they were Active Directory itself, such as issuing ticket for user that don't exist. Like if you are a head, you don't have to listen others. You can do whatever you want. Like, so what it can does, like it will issue a ticket granting ticket for any user which is even not exist in users on a Windows. And this also can do like adding user to group in which they don't belong, like if any user is not in an administration group, What golden ticket can use, that it can transfer that user to administration group, or what it can does is, or issuing ticket with lifetimes far beyond the configuration maximum. In effect, the adversary is attacked Active Directory and can access any resources they choose. This capability is both extremely powerful and difficult to detect. Like in this attack, what a nutshell I will discuss this in a nutshell is like, when you get the hash of the KRB TGT account, which is the head of an Active Directory, like if you able to compromise that account, then you become the head and you can do whatever you want, like anything. Like you add the new user, you can change the group of the user, you can publish any ticket for any user that even not exist, and everything you can perform on that Active Directory. You are become the like a root, we can say that in a language of Linux. Now we will discuss, so I will break this attack into 3 steps. So the step 1, so as this also related to hash, so Mimikatz need to be there. So the step 1 are, there are number method through which we can an attacker can compromise the hash of the KRB TGT user. All of them require that the adversary have discovered and compromise some kind of administrative privileges in Active Directory, whether that replication privileges or administrative access to a domain controller. DC sync is an effective technique commonly used by the adversary of this purpose. So in that case, so as you can see in the command mimikatz.exe lsa dump DC sync. DC sync in effective technique, and the user domain and the account name is KRB TGT. We are targeting Kerberos ticket granted ticket user. So we can see, by issuing this command, we will get the hash of the KRB TGT account, which we will use in the next step, which is, after compromising the KRB TGT account password hash, an attacker use a tool like Mimikatz or Impacket. Impacket is a great toolkit. Great. It contains lots of tools which makes life easier. Okay. Now come to the point. An attacker uses a tool like Mimikatz or Impacket to forge Kerberos ticket. In this example, the adversary is going to use their golden ticket to create a Kerberos ticket grant ticket for a user that don't exist. That, as we have discussed earlier, if we have the KRB TGT hash, we can grant any ticket to the user, often any, although that user not exist, because the root of trust is Kerberos is the KRB TGT password hash. This TGT is considered fully valid because this is published by KRB TGT password. To use the golden ticket to mint the TGT, the adversary must specify certain information to Mimikatz like Kerberos :golden. This signifies golden ticket attack, and we have to definitely mention domain, in which domain that belong, and we have to and we have to also mention SID, secure identifier, SID of the domain, AES 256 encryption. This need all this this we get from the step 1, as we have used Mimikatz to dump the hash of the KRB TGT account. The user can be anyone which is even not there in the users group, and the group which you want to add that user in the PTT, pass the ticket. So at the end of this command, you have seen given that golden ticket for non-existent user @domain.com successfully submitted for the current. Now what happened is, a user named non-existing group and existent user is created and add into a group called having a group ID of 513 and 2668. Now the what this command is do, add this user to @domain in this domain.com. The user is added. Now the third step is what? Lastly, the attacker can use the forged ticket to access Kerberos integrated resources because the forgery is signed and encrypted with the real KRB TGT account and it is valid, confirmed because it is hashed by a KRB TGT account. Furthermore, at the advisory, discover more about the environment and they can pilfer more data to get further ahead. And pilfering done can be more and more and more to get more information about what is Active Directory and all that stuff related to Active Directory. Okay, so at the end, here I have discussed 3 most important attack of Active Directory. There are some more attack which is also important but not discuss those because Active Directory is already a very huge domain. We cannot complete that in a one session. So because this is very huge domain, but I already completed the 3 most important attack, and and I hope you get understanding of all the attack that I discussed and basic terminology and concept behind Active Directory. So that's all for that session. Thank you and be safe. Happy learning.